everybody, it's Ryan from MyAfterSchoolToys.com with this week's toy review, and today is all about the Beetlejuice action figures from Kenner in 1989. We're going to look at some of the figures, we're going to look at one of the vehicles, and see what some of them do, and just kind of relive this pretty cool little action figure series from Kenner. Of course, we all remember the Beetlejuice movie, one of my favorites from the 80s, starring one of my favorite 80s actors, Michael Keaton. And there's been some rumored talk that he's been approached to do a sequel, and with the CGI nowadays and the makeup, they can actually make him look almost exactly the same as he did in the first movie, so that would be awesome. If he doesn't do it, I don't want to see some other actor in there. It's either Michael Keaton or no Beetlejuice at all, in my opinion. But anyways, back to the figures, because that's what it's all about. We're going to look at one of them here. This is Exploding Beetlejuice. You can see his yellow striped suit right here. And he came with the Dreadful Dragon, which is just a dragon with Beetlejuice's face on it. Kind of a cool little black and white card scheme here. And then it's got some pretty cool art on the top here. Alright, and we'll look at the back here. Now there's a lot of figures on the back of this one. When we look at some of the little older ones here, you'll see that there's not as many. But there were a lot of figures in the line. There was a shipwrecked Beetlejuice, and a teacher creature, and a street rat, and an old buzzard. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Kenner Ghostbusters with the regular, ordinary people that turn into monsters type of thing. So, but still cool. And there's several Beetlejuices down here, and we're going to look at a couple as well. And basically what Exploding Beetlejuice did was you pressed a button and he would come apart. The front of him would fly off and you could see all of his innards inside. Like that. So, cool figure. Exploding Beetlejuice. Alright, and then here we have Otho the Obnoxious. And we remember him from the movie. He was kind of like the designer slash family friend slash wannabe medium. And he comes with a little loathsome lizard, which is just Beetlejuice's face on a lizard body. And then his big thing was his head would come off and he had this like creepy, scary head underneath. Like that. So that is Otho the Obnoxious. And then to me, the most iconic Beetlejuice from the whole movie is the Showtime Beetlejuice. That's the one I remember from the commercials when they were trying to sell the movie. Kind of like the circus theme right before he was trying to marry Lydia. So, one of my favorites as far as the Beetlejuice line goes here. And he came with the Rotten Rattler. And actually I have one of these out of the package, so we're going to look at that in just a second here. On the back, a little close-up look. There's Adam with a moving head. There's the spin-head Beetlejuice. And then there's a 12-inch talking Beetlejuice down here, which is pretty crazy because that was like the Pee Wee Herman one that we had from the 80s that everybody loved. So they kind of just repackaged it and made it into a Beetlejuice one. But still very cool. Okay, let's turn that around here and let's bring out Showtime Beetlejuice. We can get a good look at him here. We steady the camera just a bit. There we go. Okay. Showtime Beetlejuice. So first of all, he came with this Rotten Rattler here, which kind of is the most detailed of all these little side creatures that the figures came with. This Rattler is. It's got a little Beetlejuice head here and a curled tail, and then you could put it on his arm and his tail would wrap around his neck to hold him in place. Like so. So you had the little Rattler here. And then on the Beetlejuice figure here, his neck would raise up like that, as well as his head would pop off. And there was a little scary lizard-like Beetlejuice head underneath that could raise up and down. Kind of cool. I don't know, I like the figure. It's really colorful. It's good representation of the movie as well. It's not like the cartoon. If you remember, the cartoon Beetlejuice was very poorly drawn, but it was fun still. He had purple fingernails and it was just kind of odd, but these are more like the movie. So there was a vehicle in the Beetlejuice line here called the Phantom Flyer. It was a motorcycle slash, I guess, airplane for Beetlejuice. And this is the artwork on the front here. And some of the pictures on the side. And then a little detailed description of the features on the back here. But why look at that? Let's just take it out of the box and look at it up close. See it pull it out like this. Okay, so right off the bat, what we know and love from Kenner is there We Really Do Care papers that they put in here. And there just really wasn't much on this. So basically, if something goes wrong, you could contact them here in Cincinnati, Ohio, and maybe you could get a refund. But whoever really did that, come on. Okay, so let's take this out and look at it. This one has never been played with, so the stickers that come for the wings are still off of it. But we'll take a look at it here. So basically what it was a motorcycle plus an airplane. So what we're going to do is put it in airplane mode first, so you can see, and we'll use our Showtime Beetlejuice here. Let's take his little snake friend off to kind of put him in like that. So he could fit inside, and he had a jet. Now in the back here, the jet had a little spinning saw blade. And this is actually going to come off in just a second when we turn it back into the motorcycle mode. Right here you see the skeleton had a snapping jaw in the front, as well as grabber hands that could pick up another character and then fly him in the air and drop him, I guess. So there you go. And then when it was not in flying mode, you could take the blade off the back, fit it in between the hands of the skeleton here, just like that. Push them together, fold up the wings, and now you have a hot rod motorcycle for Beetlejuice, just like that. So pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, you really couldn't have the action figure lines without a vehicle, so this was a pretty good attempt, and it's kind of neat. It's got the striping like Beetlejuice around the wheels, and then also around the skeleton here. Very cool. It had a little hidden wheel on the bottom just to help it roll, like that. So kind of a cool feature. And then their thing was, if you actually wanted it to fly, you could use this as a bomb as well, and just squeeze and it would fall, just like that. So that's cool, the Phantom Flyer for Beetlejuice. I hope you enjoyed the toy review. It was a fun line from 1989, great reminiscence for the movie, and hopefully we'll get a sequel with Michael Keaton. I think it would be a lot of fun and they could do it well. But that's our review. Hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, check us out at myafterschooltoys.com. And until our next toy review, long live the 80s.